This conference will now be recorded.
Well, Nicholas, whenever you're ready to go, you'll be set.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the Montachusett Joint Transportation Committee. The agenda, so we do introductions, please. My name is Nicholas Bassonetto. I'm Commissioner of Public Works here in Fitchburg.
Dick Mackey, representing Sterling Board of Selectmen.
Rich Liberatory, I'm the Commissioner for the Municipal Fitchburg Airport.
Dick Kilhart, Athol, DPW.
Beth Faxon, Town of Townsend, Planning Board Rep.
Tim Kilhart, Harvard, DPW.
Matt Brenner, I'm on the Lunenburg Planning Board.
Alice Livedall, Hubbardston Planning Board.
Brian Dohney, Town Administrator, Ashburnham.
Ray Williams, Interim DPW Superintendent, Ashburnham.
Okay, Roger Hoyt, rep for the Planning Board, Ashburnham.
I think that's all the communities. Oh, go ahead, Paul, I'm sorry.
District 2, that's okay.
Hi, it's Laura Hanson from Mass DOT District 2.
And Sarah Bradbury, MassDOT District 3.
Okay. Then Brad Harris, MRPC.
Brian Doherty, MRPC.
Sherry Bean, MRPC.
George Snow, MRPC.
And I think that's everybody. Thank you.
Excellent. Public comments. Is there any public comments submitted? Okay, well, seeing none, we'll move to approval of the April 14th, 2021 meeting minutes. Any comments or edits to the minutes? Okay. Motion to accept the minutes then?
So moved.
Seconding, Guy Corbacero.
All right, seeing no objections, we'll consider that passed. All right, Brad, selection of nominating committee.
Okay. George, did you want to do this?
I got it, Brad.
Okay. Yeah, George Snow will take it.
Thank you. Today, the MJTC begins the annual process of selecting new officers. At this meeting, the selection of the officer nominating committee will take place. To begin, the chairman will ask for a volunteer convener for the nominating committee. The convener will then, in turn, ask for volunteers of up to 3 members for the nominating committee. The MJTC will then need to approve by consensus for the nominating committee to meet prior to the June MJTC meeting to establish a slate of officers that will include at least 1 nominee for each office. Of course, there's 3 offices, chair, vice chair, and secretary. Nick, if you want to ask for a volunteer, convener.
All right, anybody want to volunteer to head up the selection committee?
I will say it's very light lifting. We just need a few people to put together a slate for us. We can provide you with contact information for the other people in the nominating committee. We can help you contact the existing officers to see if they're interested in continuing and so forth. So we need someone to volunteer to be the convener, and then up to 3 more people to serve on the nominating committee.
Or if you're on the nominating committee, you don't have to worry about serving as an officer.
Yeah, that's one way. That's one way to look at it. Yep, you can ensure that.
I'll work on the nominating committee.
We have Dick Mackey from Sterling.
Correct.
Anyone else care to volunteer or be appointed? No? I guess, Nick, if you want to appoint a couple people, or Dick, if you want to appoint a couple people.
All right. So I have to pick people out, huh? Oh boy. Hey, Richard, aren't you retired? Don't you have extra time?
Oh, yeah, I'm enjoying my days off. If you need me to help, I'll volunteer.
All right. That's 2.
Okay.
How many more we need? At least one more?
I think one more person would be great.
All right. Meeny, miny, mo. I don't know. Is there any?
Guy Corbett, I'll volunteer. Begrudgingly.
Thank you, Guy. Okay, so the nominating committee is Richard Mackey, Richard Liberatore, and Guy Corbacero. What we'll do is I'll get you the emails for everybody else and maybe phone numbers. Before the June meeting, we can have it set up just a half an hour beforehand where the 3 of you can get together and just talk about the nominees or possible nominees. I'll also send out an email asking for volunteers for the offices, and then I'll forward that all to you. Currently, the officers are John Wyman as the chair from Westminster. He's retiring from the planning board. Nicholas is the vice chair, and Tracy Murphy was the secretary. So we need at least 2 positions filled. And if there's anybody interested in one of those positions, let me know and I will pass it along. And I will say it's really very light lifting, except for the chair, all your who runs the meetings. The other 2 are just backups in case we need someone to step in. So if you're interested, just let me know.
Thank you for volunteering. It's very much appreciated. All right, so we'll move on to item number 5 on the agenda, the Montachusett Federal Fiscal Year 2021-2025 TIP program. Brad,
That will be Brian.
Oh, Brian, okay.
Looks like we skipped ahead. I think the next item is the
the amendment.
TIP amendment number 3. Was George Snow? Are you gonna take care
Yeah,
of
I'll
that
take
one?
that. Yeah, I'll take that.
My mistake. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Draft TIP amendment number 3 applies to the FFY 2021 TIP transit element. The proposed amendment reflects the addition of one new project. Oh, do you want to show the? There it is. Okay, great. So the green highlighted project is the new project at the bottom of the page there. As well as cost changes and adjustments to 6 other projects which are based on bid prices and state and federal funding levels. And those are the yellow highlighted projects. At the MPO meeting held on April 21st, the MPO reviewed the proposed amendment and voted that it be released for a 21-day public review and comment period. The period commenced on Monday, April 26th, It will close at the end of business on Monday, May 17th. Today, we are asking the MJTC to comment on and to consider making a recommendation to the MPO to endorse the proposed amendment. Your comments will be incorporated into a final tip amendment number 3. If no significant objections are made during the remainder of the public review period, the final document will be forwarded for endorsement to the MPO at the next MPO meeting to be held Wednesday, May 19th. So it's open for comments.
Anybody have
And-
questions or comments?
And just to let you know too, that we have not received any comments from anybody on this amendment.
All right, so motion to recommend the MPO approve this amendment number 3.
So moved, Guy Cordero.
All right. If
Second.
there's no,
Second that.
okay. All right, unless anybody has objections, we'll consider this motion passed. Next
Okay,
item.
so the recommendation will be for the MPO to endorse the tip amendment based on any comments received afterwards.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 6 on the agenda is the Montachusett Federal Fiscal Year 2022 to 2026 TIP.
Yep, I'll take that. So at the April 21st MPO meeting, the group released the draft 22 through 26 tip document for a public comment period of 21 days. That period is from April 26th and ends May 17th, which is next Monday. Here's a letter to interested parties regarding the release of the document, and also the UPWP for the comment period, which we're currently in. So today, the JTC, if we wish, if you wish, you could make a comment. We can add it to the final product of the tip, seeing that we're still in the comment period. Today, we received just 2 comments, one from Mass DOT and one from Federal Highway. And I can go over those briefly. And all comments will incorporate into the final version of the tip. They'll be in the appendix. So this is all sort of documented and folded in the tip. So we received a number of different comments from both DOT and Federal Highway, and I sort of categorized them into different sections. The first comment here we have labeled comment 1. It's from Mass DOT Office of Transportation Planning. I labeled it completeness. Basically, it's just some minor edits on the document. We noted those changes, and we'll make those in the document if we haven't already. The second comment we have here in regards to just narrative. Again, some minor additions they requested us to add. We'll add those before the final version. Comment 3 in regards to performance measurement. So they had requested a few different things be added to this section of the document. We'll be adding some additional information on March Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan. So that's added information that we'll have in the document. They also had some comments on our performance measures, which we set for our region in the Regional Transportation Plan that we put out in 2019. So our response to that is basically that we'll be looking at reviewing some of these performance measures that we set with the JTC and the MPO in upcoming meetings, and especially in regards to our new Regional Transportation Plan update, which will be starting on next year. The fourth comment from Office of Transportation Planning, just in regards to the project listing, they're asking us to add some additional information, which we'll do. On impact analysis, comment 5, again, some changes to the information that we have there and some additional information they're requesting, which we plan on making in the final document. Comment 7 was from Federal Highway, just some minor edits which we'll make. They also commented on performance measures in comment 8. We had some outdated data in there, and we'll update that data and add it to the final document. Finally, Federal Highway and DOT also touched upon this on RTP priorities, it's labeled. Basically, we'll explore breaking down project costs and see if we can categorize projects to see where we're making investments. We can categorize certain projects into safety, say, or intersection improvements, and we'll be looking at doing that in the final version. So again, these are the comments we have to date. If the JTC wishes to make a comment, we can add that as well. Again, the comment period closes on Monday, on the 17th. Aside from that, basically we're looking for a recommendation from the group to the MPO to release, or to, endorse the final tip document, which will hopefully occur next week at the MPO meeting.
So move, Guy Cordero.
Seconded, Matt Brenner.
All right, so the motion is to recommend endorsing the final TIP. Anybody have questions or comments? All right, so we'll, with no objections, we'll go ahead and recommend that MPO endorse the final 2022 to 2026 TIP as presented. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the Montachusett Federal Fiscal Year 2022 Unified Plan Work Program, the UPWP.
All right, that's me. So along with the tip, the UPWP is also out for public comment period until the 17th, as Brian said. We have also received comments from MassDOT so far, and I think we have a table for that one as well. Yep, so we went along with the similar format as we did for the tip. So we have certain categories, and then we list the comments under each one. So I'm gonna kind of skip over some of them, just they're minor, they're, you know, change a date, change a number, maybe update a table here and there. But to give an overview, there were some, under the narrative comment 2, there was a comment of the equity analysis table. They want more information on the EJ categories that each project would fall under. So that makes a lot of sense. And we'll definitely going to look into our GIS database and figure out which exact category that they fall under for environmental justice in Title VI. So we'll update that table and include it in the final document. Under the UPWP tasks, a lot of references to like COVID-related overall impacts were mentioned, as well as virtual public participation. So things like including virtual meetings or participation techniques in our public participation plan and update and things like that. Also to reach out to MassDOT's Office of Diversity and Civil Rights to help with implementing a number of those best practices for their public outreach efforts. We can incorporate those throughout the document, not just in the public participation task. And also there are a couple of things that they wanted us to include, which were that the state has a like a bike and ped counter purchasing program that we should reference in one of those data gathering tasks, which I actually was unaware of, so that's great to know. And the Safe Routes to School dashboard, again, I wasn't aware of that either. So these are things that I'll also check out and include in the document. And then a couple others were explain how the intersection analysis, the intersections that we identified would be beneficial to the study that we'll be doing. And from for some of the transit tasks, 4.1 and 4.2, they wanted us to just be clear on how that particular task is different than a few others that seem like they would relate to each other. Just to be clear that it's more transit oriented in those tasks. So we'll just have George Kahali will assist with updating those tasks to be more clear. But overall, it's not a big lift to make these changes and the final document.
Excellent, great work. And so these are all the comments we received?
So far.
All right. Motion to endorse the final UPWP. Motion to recommend the MPO endorse the final federal fiscal year 2022 UPWP.
I believe Richard Mackey made a motion.
Yep.
Guy Cordero, second.
Any questions or discussion? All right, seeing no objections, the motion passes.
I just want to point out quickly for everybody, the comment period, as mentioned, is still open until next Tuesday. If you want to take a look more in depth of the documents, they are available online at the MRPC website, and they're also available in the cloud folder that was set up for this meeting. So if you have any questions and you want to take a more in-depth look at the information provided, those are two sources where you can get the information and the documents and review them at your leisure.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is contract status reports from the FTA, RTA, and MassDOT.
Okay. George Kahali is out on vacation, so I have a brief update of information from MART under FTA and Transit Authority. The Wachusett shuttle is back in full-day services to coincide with MBTA's new hourly schedule into Wachusett Station, which began back on May 3rd. The Littleton Westford and Route 11 shuttles remain suspended due to COVID restrictions at Great Wolf Lodge in Littleton and employers there. So these services should resume in the late summer once they're back up and eliminated the restrictions. Promotional pass for the Clinton Worcester commuter shuttle expires at the end of the summer. The pilot program runs to the end of the calendar year. They are looking for more riders in order to avoid termination of this shuttle. So if anyone is interested, contact MART and see about the program and the cost for being part of it. And then finally, beginning in June, MART will have new automatic passenger counters and automatic voice annunciators with LED signs for the scheduled stops. This will include enhanced passenger alerts and bus tracking on the website. So again, they're looking to have that up and running soon so that people will be able to go online and actually see where the bus is and when it'll be arriving at certain locations. That's all I have for Transit Authority. If you have questions, I can take them and try and pass them on and get answers for next month. Nope. No questions? Okay, I'll go on to MassDOT 3C. Staff made a presentation to the town of Athol back on May 5th on the ADA public right-of-way data collection app. The use of the app as well as the data needs were discussed with local officials so that they can begin to develop their own PROW or public right-of-way plan. Staff has also been contacted by the town of Air to provide the same presentation with a date to be determined. George Snow was involved with this, and George, I don't know, do you have any more you'd like to add? Nope. Okay. Staff is back in the office now on a limited basis. Individual attendance is up to the staff member, so it's a volunteer type program. It's hoped that the situation will continue to improve and that the staff will be back, all staff will be back in the office sometime later this summer. So there is partial staff there now. So if there's anyone have any questions, there might be someone in the office to talk to at the time. Let's see. Finally, MassDOT has announced this year's round of Capital Investment Plan virtual public meetings. MassDOT is currently developing a one-year maintenance effort for the CIP that guides how they prioritize and fund local and statewide transportation projects. CIP determines funding for new buses, trains, rail expansion, transit, paratransit, accessibility upgrades, roadway improvements, municipal projects, the MBTA, and regional airports and transit authorities. Community input can help inform project design and helps MassDOT understand the level of community support for proposed projects, ensuring that MassDOT's investments align with the needs and priorities of all Massachusetts residents. Comments on the CIP must be received by June 7th of this year. This year's CIP meeting for the Central Mass Montachusett region is set for May 27th at 6 p.m. There's a handout, which again is in the cloud folder for everybody. It's also posted on our website on how to connect to these meetings and how to make comments to Mass DOT on the CIP. Some staff from MRPC will be at the May 27th meeting to talk about local issues in our region. So that's an important meeting for anyone who's interested to take a look at and comment on. Other than that, there's a couple other handouts announcing a couple of programs. The first one is about the new Shared Streets program from Mass DOT. Again, we've published it and put it on our website. It's in response to the prior Shared Streets and the winter Shared Streets program. So if there's communities out there interested, I encourage them to take a look. We've had some success in our region with some of these programs. So Mass DOT is continuing it for this year, the summer year. And the last update, I believe, that was in there, this is one of that we saw from the U.S. Department of Transportation announcing a $10 million funding opportunity for transit planning to address climate change and equity in communities nationwide. So this is an opportunity related to transit-oriented development and so forth that may be of interest to some communities. They've got some requirements of what this needs to cover and what needs to be examined as part of this. We're looking into this to see if there's something we might be able to put together. But if any communities are interested in something, we're more than willing to work with the community too if they have an interest. And if we can expand on the program or so forth, let us know and we'll see if something can be put together that might benefit the region related to transit and transit-oriented developments. And that's all I have on the MassDOT 3C.
Brad, I'd like to add that we're planning on making a presentation at the MJTC about the app, the ADA Pro Surveys Data Collection app. We'll plan on doing that in the future, in our future MJTC meeting. So,
right. Thank you, George.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Brad regarding these programs?
I'll just add that the deadline for the next round of Shared Streets is May 21st. So just a heads up on that. And the focus for this next round is on safety improvements, and ADA transition plans and road safety audits are specifically called out on the priority for the application. So if you have projects that have been part of any of those studies, those are being sort of looked at more closely. So just wanted to throw in those two things. Thanks.
you.
Excellent opportunities there to make some improvements. All right, so can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Oh, no, we have to, the next MJTC meeting.
That next MJTC is June 6th at 2:30 p.m. Early in the year. Let me double check that. I get the wrong day. Sorry, June 9th. June 9th.
Okay, June 6th was a Sunday. All right, June 9th at 2:30.
Yeah, 2:30.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Okay, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Guy Corbacero.
Second, Matt Brenner.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for coming today, and thank you to the MRPC staff for, again, great presentations and great materials. And we'll see you June 9th.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.